Have you ever wondered whether there was a way to get better grades in your GCSEs and your A-levels by just studying less? Well, I think I found one. It gets me straight A stars, saves time, lowers my stress, and even leaves me time to go to the gym and spend time with my friend. So in this video today, I'll be breaking down step by step how I study more efficiently so I don't spend the whole day revising. A few years ago during my GCSEs, I thought it would be cool or inspirational to revise between 6 to 8 hours per day to get the best grades possible in my exams. It will show how gritty and determined I was to get those grades. And yes, I did get 12 nines, but I can't explain to you how miserable and burnt out I was afterwards. That's when I realised I needed a different and more focused approach when it came to revising. And that's when I discovered this principle. What you do in your hours of studying per day is more important than the amount of time you're revising for. If you're watching a video like this, you probably have the tendency to overfocus on one task or cram a lot of tasks into a small space of time. And we need to strike the balance between the two. It's way easier said than done, so I've broken this down into 5 steps. Step 1 is to be more intentional with your time. What we're doing here is establishing one thing. We are not going to spend the whole day working or revising for exams. The way we're now going to apply this is to pick 2 study times where we're going to spend 2 hours each per weekend or holiday, so a day you don't have school. The reason why this works is because you should never leave your time open-ended. You should feel in control of your time and not let your work or the things you need to do dictate how you're going to be spending your time. So if you've allocated 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon to some work, that means you will not do work at any other times during the day. This helps to create routine, but it also helps to create urgency and to do your priority tasks, which we'll come on to later. So hopefully by now you've picked 2 times during the day, which you're prepared to study between 1 to 3 hours on at that time. Step 2 is now to understand what specific tasks you should be doing during your work sessions. You could probably come up with a list of 10 to 20 things that you could be doing in your work block, but there's only 5 things I've ever done during my work sessions. Those things being homework, obviously, so things your school sets you, things you need to do. But the other 4 are specific to revision. None of your revision should be spent highlighting your notes, or rereading a textbook, or watching loads of YouTube videos online. There are only 4 things that you need to do to revise for exams every single time, no matter what. Those things being making notes, doing active recall from your notes, doing past paper questions, and then reflecting on your exam results. Those are only 4 things I've ever done to revise, and it's gotten me perfect grades in all the exams I've ever sat. But if you do think you need more help in forming your revision system for yourself, on the 14th of August, I'm releasing a 90-minute masterclass to help you create your perfect personalised revision system. It will be the only revision system that you'll ever need to revise for your GCSEs and your A-levels, and the first 5 people who sign up will get personalised one-to-one support from me for the rest of the year until your exams. So if you're interested in that, sign up to my waitlist down below to get 40% off. Step 3 is to then identify the priorities in those tasks that we've already discussed. So your blocks of work should only ever contain one of those 5 tasks that we discussed earlier. But if you only had 4 hours to study per day, as we established in step 1, what would you do? What you do is find all the tasks you need to do and put them in order of priority in your task list. Finding priorities makes us on top of our work, and that's a great thing. So to make this process more effective, there's 2 things which could highlight whether something is a priority or not over something else. Those 2 things are urgency and magnitude. So urgency is if you've got something which is due very soon. If it's due very soon, if it's more urgent, then it will be a higher priority on your list. And the next thing is magnitude, how important that task is or how much that task will take you towards your goals. So let's say you've got a piece of homework that you need to do, or you need to be revising for an exam that you have next week. The revision for the exam is more urgent because it's next week, and it has higher magnitude, meaning it's more important because it's for an exam. So once we've established our priorities and how long we want to be working for from step 1, what we now need to do is to place these priority tasks into the times that we want to study. So almost creating a study schedule or routine. When you're organising your work, never write study in your study block. Instead, write a specific task. And what that specific task should be your task, which is number 1 on your priority list. Then to schedule after that, pick number 2. Then number 3, then number 4. You've created a priority list for a reason and you should be following it in order. And I know people struggle to actually follow things that they set for themselves. So a few practical tips that you can follow are Setting alarms for when you actually need to go sit down to do work. So using the times that I gave you in step 1, the ones that you've picked, set alarms for those exact times, meaning that when it gets to those times, you hear the alarm on your phone, you know it's time to work. Even before you start working, having your work laid out on your desk already reduces the amount of friction to go and get started, and that will really help you to actually stick to your plan, because there's not a lot of friction to go and actually follow through. And the final thing is that when you're actually sitting down to do your work, good thing you've already got started, you're already feeling a bit motivated. Let's say half an hour to 45 minutes in, the motivation is already dipping. What can you do to keep yourself going? Set a work timer at the beginning of your session for an hour and a half, and say to yourself, I will not move from my desk until this time is complete. So you'll be working for that sustained period of time, fully focused, so that you can get your work done and not have your motivation drift off mid-work session. And one final step, step 5, is about efficiency not being isolated between your work sessions. In an ideal world, you set the task that you need to do and you just complete it in the perfect time that you set for yourself already. But this is not always how it works. What you have to do instead is to accept the fact that some tasks may just take a little bit longer than you've expected. That shouldn't derail your plan. What you do instead is to accept that fact and start your next work session with that incomplete task. The reason why this is useful is because it's maintaining your priority order, but it's also building up momentum for that next work session. If you have things incomplete during the day, you always just go back and think about it. Think about what you need to do to go and complete it. You know later on you'll dedicate some time to it, whereas during the day, you're having some thought about that work. That is keeping momentum throughout the day. So that when you go and start your next work session, you're not thinking about what you need to do. You already know what you need to do, given your plan and the incomplete task, and you can just start doing high quality work as quickly as possible. So yeah, this is all the advice I have for this video today. I'm always someone who's done well in my exams, but the advice I've given you today is actually help me maintain my grades, but just by studying less. So if you did find this video useful, I've got a Discord down below in my description, and I've also got the masterclass coming out on the 14th of August. I thought it would be an incredible opportunity for anyone studying GCSEs or A-levels and who aspires to get the best grades possible. I've put hundreds of hours of effort into it, and I believe it will actually help you get your dream grades. Signing up now will get you 40% off, and those are the top 2 links in my description down below. But before then, I'll see you in the next video.